Today, we're going to be making lip gloss. Sounds simple enough, right? Only thing is, I've been waiting to do this for almost 10 years. Not because making lip gloss is particularly difficult, and not because I didn't have the time either. The truth is, I stopped myself long before I ever had the chance to begin. When I was younger, I became obsessed with the idea of making cosmetics. I watched videos about formulation and I imagined what I call my brand, even pictured the product sitting on the shelf somewhere. But every time I thought about actually making lip gloss, that excitement was followed by another thought. I'm not ready to start a business. So I waited. And somehow, but not surprisingly, waiting to build a business turned into never allowing myself to enjoy the hobby. It's very strange how that happens. Somewhere along the way, I stopped asking myself, would this make me happy? And I started asking, could this make me money? As if joy had to earn its place. As if every interest needed a business plan before it deserved my time. And I don't think anyone teaches us to think like that. It just sort of happens. We grow up in a world that celebrates turning passions into paychecks, hobbies into side hustles, creativity into productivity. And while there's nothing wrong with building something you love, I think a lot of us lose something in the process. Now, I've always loved makeup. Not just wearing it, but everything about it. The colors, the packaging, the creativity behind it. So when I found out that people were actually making their own makeup at home, not in some huge lab, but in their kitchens and their little studios, I was completely fascinated. The idea that something sitting on a shelf in a huge makeup store could start in someone's room felt almost impossible to me at the time. And then I hear stories about people who started with a few handmade products and eventually built their own beauty brands. I thought that was the coolest shit ever. Of course, the idea of making money from something you genuinely enjoy is exciting. I won't pretend it wasn't. If anything, it made me dream even bigger. I started imagining what my own brand would look like, what I'd call it, how I'd package it. Obviously pink, obviously. In my mind, making lip gloss and building a beauty business slowly became the same thing. Looking back, I don't necessarily think that was the problem. The problem was that I stopped believing they could exist separately. And so I waited, painfully, at that. Every time I saw someone making their own cosmetics online, I'd stop and watch. And every single time I think, I really want to do this, but wanting to do it and allowing myself to do it were two different things. Because in my head, making lip gloss wasn't just making lip gloss. It was starting a business. And I wasn't ready for that. I was still figuring my life out. Very young, obviously. I didn't know the first thing about running a company. I didn't have the money, the experience, or the confidence. So every time the thought came back, I tell myself the same thing. One day when life is a little less busy, one day when I know more, when I'm in a better place, one day when I'm finally ready. And the funny thing about one day is that it never feels far away until you wake up and almost 10 years have gone by. And in those 10 years, I never stopped wanting to make lip gloss. I just convinced myself I wasn't allowed to enjoy it until I was ready for everything that came after it. Looking back now, I don't think I was necessarily waiting to start a business. I think I was just waiting for permission. Permission to suck at it. Permission to make something that nobody would ever buy. Permission to do something simply because I thought it would make me happy. And that is such a sad thing to realize. That all this time, the only person stopping me was me. Then one day, I caught myself doing it again. I was watching someone make lip gloss, probably for like the 1000th time, and I could already feel myself slipping into the same conversation I'd been having with myself for years. Maybe one day. And I don't know what was different about that day, but for the first time, I stopped myself. I remember thinking, what if I never start the business? What if life takes me somewhere completely different? What if I never own a beauty brand? Would that really mean I never get to know what it feels like to make my own lip gloss? And that felt absolutely ridiculous because I'd accidentally made joy conditional. I'd convinced myself that I had to earn it first. that I had to become someone before I was allowed to enjoy the things she dreamed about. But why? Why couldn't I just make lip gloss for the sole reason of wanting to? Who said I couldn't just do it for fun? And for the first time in almost 10 years, that finally felt like enough. So that's exactly what we're doing today. There's no launch plan. There is no business strategy. I'm not worrying about profits or whether this is the right thing to do. Today, I'm just making lip gloss. And honestly, it's been so fun. Not because I'm particularly good at making lip gloss. In fact, I am very aware that there are people who have been doing this for years and would probably make much better lip gloss than I can. But that's kind of the point. For once, I'm allowing myself to be a beginner again, to make mistakes and to laugh when something doesn't go quite right, to make something that never has to leave my room if I don't want it to. Somewhere along the way, I forgot that hobbies are supposed to look like this. They're supposed to be a little messy and imperfect and unproductive even. Not everything we create has to become our career. Not every interest has to become an income stream. And not every passion has to justify the time we spend on it. Sometimes it's enough that it makes you lose track of time. It's enough that for a little while you forget to check your phone. It's enough that it reminds you there's still a part of you that's curious. And maybe that's what I've really been making this whole time. Not necessarily lip gloss, but space for my inner child to come back and play for a while. Maybe one day I will start that cosmetics company. I honestly hope I do. I still think it would be one of the coolest things in the world to see something that I made sitting on a shelf somewhere. That dream never went away. But if that day never comes, at least I won't spend another 10 years waiting to enjoy the thing that made me dream in the first place. So maybe this is your reminder as much as it is mine. Go paint, go bake, learn the instrument, buy the camera, make the pottery, go write that story. Whatever that thing is that you've been putting off because it doesn't seem productive enough, or profitable enough, or serious enough, maybe it doesn't need to be. Maybe it just needs to make you happy. And maybe happiness has always been enough.